What's up, guys? Welcome to History Weekly. We're here today in my review. We're going to be talking about Chapter 33,
Heck yeah,
Imperialism. How have you guys been doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I know, right? It's like, Pharaoh was a little weird in the beginning, but we got past that.
Last day of the day? Okay,
And
let's
it's
get this.
pretty hot in here.
Isaiah, I know you've been working on imperialism. How about you tell us about some imperialist motives?
So there are actually many imperial motives, such as political, economic, and cultural.
Okay. So tell us about some cultural motives.
Some cultural motives, there's actually two things, entrepreneurs and missionaries. Missionaries sought to introduce Christianity to them, right?
Okay.
While entrepreneurs actually wanted to bring them civilization in the form of political goods and political order and social mission.
So the entrepreneurs really only focused on like physical goods and ideas, and
Yeah.
they just let the missionaries do their own thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But at one point, there was actually like defending of their like what they believed in for missionaries from
Okay.
So
entrepreneurs.
just a little bit of conflict between them.
Yeah, slightly conflict.
Okay, so tell us about some economic motives now.
So economic motives, Europeans actually ended up seeing how they don't have any, any of these resources, natural resources such as rubber, tin, copper, and petroleum in the 19th century.
Okay.
Petroleum, they ended up thinking, yeah, we should get this. But overseas for rubber, what they can do is actually just get it from the Amazon, from the river basin. And for tin, they can just get it Southeast Asia.
Okay.
So they got all these different materials in order to fuel the industry in their area. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so how about you tell us about some political motives now?
Political motives, actually, there was just some things such as them wanting to get a good vantage point, and then there's also some good spots for harbors and supply stations.
So all the political motives were just based on like
Military things.
so good locations for military outposts and like trade
To deny
posts.
them to the
Yeah.
enemies. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
so
they could easily get these.
Chris, do you have any input on this?
Oh, yeah, I actually have an example of a political motive.
Oh, okay.
It was the Great Game, actually. It was a conflict between Russia and the British Empire over India subcontinent. It was a very it was a very pivotal geopolitical situation at the time because it established Britain as the foremost greatest power.
So Russia kind of lost and fell off a little bit after this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. And this was in India type thing, right?
Yeah.
So this is all based in India. So
Pretty much.
do you have anything else for us?
Afghanistan. Thank you.
I actually have it was the East Indian Company.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, they helped the British secure control over the region, and they actually helped stabilize the region for the British.
All right, got you.
Okay. So, Madison. Well, do you have any input on this?
Oh, I do have a lot of input. So about all these different colonies that these overlords were taking, right? They got all the colonies mostly in order to get all the agricultural and natural resources there, right?
Okay.
So pretty much they would take all these things and then profit for themselves, giving the colonies nothing really for them. They had a lot of changes. They added a lot of changes to the colonies in order for more efficiency.
So there's a lot of exploitation in these colonies.
Wait, were these natural resources actually rubber too?
Yeah, the natural resources also were rubber, timber, petroleum, and everything you just mentioned.
Oh,
before.
yeah, so that makes sense.
So tell us about some changes.
Some of the changes were, the biggest example was in India. In India, since 5000 BCE, they made their own cotton. Local artisans would make their cotton and then spread it locally to their villages and whatever.
Yeah.
But then when the British arrived, it led to the undermining of that tradition of local consumption of the cotton, and it led to more exports.
So the British really made them use their own British cotton instead of locally produced cotton.
Yep. And there's also other examples like in Ceylon. There wasn't that much tea consumption there, but then when the British came, they started cutting down all the trees, which led to deforestation, which led to more tea plantations, and that plantations led to all this labor from all of the different. They took the women and the children and then forced them into labor.
So how would they get these laborers?
Well, there was massive migration during this time in order to get all the laborers, right?
Mhm.
So pretty much there were two different forms of labor. There was the Europeans going to temperate areas, and there was the Asians and the Africans to the tropical areas.
Oh, okay. So since there was people migrating to these areas,
Yeah.
doesn't that mean there would be something like racism there?
Yeah, there were many forms of racism during this time because you see, the overlords, they believe themselves as completely superior to their colonists. And there's something known as, there's a concept called scientific racism that started with the French nobleman Joseph Gobineau in his essay on the equality of human race. He labeled Africans as unintelligent and lazy, Asians as docile and smart, and Native Americans as dull and boring. But then they labeled themselves as completely superior morally and intellectually.
Wait, so can I say that these guys are white?
Yeah, they're just white. Yeah, everyone who's darker skinned than them. Like, there was something where they would go look at people, they'd look at the nose shape, the eye shape, the skin, the color of their skin, and then base that to
White
like
people.
on how good they are. I know, right? It's really unfair.
So, you have anything else for us?
Yeah, so they used Charles Darwin, like his theory of evolution and natural selection, to then further. They use that as evidence to say like we grew like the Europeans, they grew up in a better, morally better environment, leading to the Africans and Asians being worse than them.
Well, you wouldn't say morally better. It's just like different like cultures and traditions than
Yeah.
Africans and Asians.
Yeah, they just view themselves because of they view themselves as just completely superior to them.
So I know like because they're basing off these racist assumptions off of Charles Darwin, there's a lot of like pseudoscience.
Yeah.
Involved in this.
It was really unfair towards them.
Okay.
There were even some rebellion towards the overlords. An example would be the Maji Maji Rebellion, which also means magical water rebellion, where in East Africa they used to they would sprinkle water onto their faces and hope that the Germans couldn't shoot them because the water was protecting them.
Now this is like some sort of like traditional holy water.
Yeah, traditional holy water, but then it never worked and they all died.
Yeah,
It
it's
was really
unfortunate.
tragic.
No logic in that, Jesus
Yeah, I
Christ.
know, right? But they thought, because of their culture.
Yeah, of course, it's all part of their culture.
It's what they
religion.
believed in,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that.
This further made Europeans think these people are stupid. They're
Okay,
better
yeah.
than them.
I can see
Oh,
what
yeah.
that would be.
So that would actually tie in with the yeah, that would make so much more sense now.
Mhm.
So
That's it.
that's it.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good job, guys.
Yeah. Thanks.
And that's,
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for
that
watching.
was chapter
That was
33,
chapter
imperialism.
33, imperialism.
We'll see you in the next video for chapter 37, World War II.
RV podcast.
RV
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Okay.